Hi there, and how are all of you today? I have been slow on the upload again. I'm so sorry about that, but you know, life. I'll keep saying it and it just keeps on happening. Today, this mani is actually completely inspired by this set of decals. I found Spirit Art Designs when I did my last my very last upload, which was a little over a week ago, for autism acceptance, and they did a collab with Two Chicks One Dip, and I absolutely fell in love with their decals. Super easy to use, very vibrant and colorful, so I ordered more. And this set just shouted spring to me. It's kind of on the dark side for a spring mani, but I love this color combination. Navy blue, white, and sort of a dark pink, almost wine color, this is the color Ofrendas. I don't know if I am saying that right, from Soul Dips. And I am also using this gorgeous color from the Marla, Kris, and Shimmer and Shine fall collab, I believe, and it's called There In A Prosecco. It is a beautiful navy blue glitter. The dip itself doesn't look navy blue, but when you apply it, it does. I don't know how to explain it. It's some kind of crazy magic. And I am using, as the background for my decal, I am using my iGel Beauty 001, which is the white from their diamond collection. It's a pretty easy white to work with, so I am going with that. So I'm actually starting this mani with my white. I don't know why I chose the order I did. It made sense in my brain at the time. So I am going to apply one dip of the white. I'm going to let that set for a few minutes because I am indeed using my Dip-O-Mania low odor base liquid for this mani. You know, trying to avoid the dip flu situation, but it is a bit slower drying, and I found that especially when using lighter colors, if I try to brush off excess too quickly, it smudges or it doesn't go well. So that's gonna sit for a moment once I clean up my cuticles, and I'm going to move on to the glitter. I know this seems a little backwards, but this is not one of those glitters that's super invasive. It doesn't fly in the air. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't contaminate as easily as some finer glitters do. So I wasn't as afraid to use this right after the white. That's all I can say. I did not want to use the Ofrendas because that could be a bit more invasive. If it got on the white, it would stain because it's a pinky color. Does any of this make sense to you guys? This is the way my brain was working at the time. It worked out just fine, so we're just gonna go with that. So yeah, I am going to apply 2 dips of this glitter. Now, when I first dip, now I don't know if you can tell on camera, but in person, my first dip, the glitters were very sparse. And the color of the dip itself looks almost like a sheer black, kind of, when it's on the nail. When it hits my skin, I can see like the blue tinge to it. It's some kind of weird dip magic that I don't quite understand, but it works out perfectly because this is just the right shade of blue somehow. Maybe it's once I have a better coverage of the glitter. I don't know. But yeah, so this is where we're going with this. I am going to dip out a second layer of the white after I finish the first layer of the glitter, and I'm going to go back in for the second dip of the glitter. Ramble. Once I do that, I do believe that I activate the white without clear capping, and I will explain why I'm doing that later. And I activate the white so that when I do the pink, the dark pink, it is less likely to contaminate my white. Okay? That's my thinking behind all of this process. So, all right, now that I have gotten all of that explanation out of the way, hi. Yes, I am back. It's been about 11 days since my last upload, assuming I get this uploaded when I expect to, which is today. Things have been hectic around this household. We had prom for my youngest last week. I did her nails for that, and she just wanted a simple little French on almond nails, and it came out beautiful. She looked very classic beauty with a red satin prom dress. I'm just like floored that she is graduating this year. She's a senior. My oldest is turning 23 this summer. It all blows my mind. But, you know, so with prom and, you know, my oldest being back home with all of her animals for a while until she finds a place, it's been a little nuts around here. And I still do work 2 jobs and try to find time to do my self-care and hobby time in between, and it's just been a little bit of a struggle. I am still somewhat healing from my last gel reaction, so that's why my index finger is still covered. I mean, it's not gross anymore. It's just, you know, my own self-conscious thing about having an incredibly short nubby on camera and just trying to kind of avoid the distraction that it might be if it's not covered, because I want my subscribers to see the mani and see the dip process and all of that, and not be concentrating on my weird little nubby. If that makes sense. So anyway, now that all the dipping is out of the way, I mean, it was the same process I always do. I can link my basic dip powder videos up in the cards, and you can check those out if you want to see what my detailed dip process is. So this is a full cover nail wrap decal, and so I'm going back to the process that I had been doing for a while for full coverage wraps, and that is to put it on my jelly stamper and wet the back of it, and then kind of try to place it that way. I am applying a layer of sticky base coat from Maniology just to ensure that it stays put where I place it, which hopefully will be where I want it, because once you place it on the sticky base coat, you can carefully remove it and try again, but it's risky. I don't recommend it if you can avoid it. But anyway, so that's my process. It sat there with a little water on the backing, and as you can see, it slided? English, Jessica, English. It slid right off very easily. So yeah, I just used my jelly stamper to kind of line it up at the cuticle, and then I press it down. And once I do that, then I can use my finger, the warmth of my finger, to sort of, you know, and see there I lifted it up a little bit and replaced the edge because it was a little bit wrinkled. And you just smooth out the wrinkles. And I'm going to cheat a little bit. I've seen lots of people with these use acetone to remove the excess decal. That did not work for me. I'm going to be honest. I tried it on my right hand, on my dominant hand, when I did that mani, and it did not work. I used lots of 100% acetone to try to seal the edges and remove the excess, and it just didn't work. So I took my scissors. Wow. I took my scissors and I snipped off a little bit of the excess, and then I used the acetone to kind of melt the decal onto the edges of my nail. And then I'm going to use my nail file to remove the remainder of the excess decal once it has sealed onto the nail. Does that all make sense to you? See, I'm going along the underside. I am not filing the sides of my nails. I'm filing underneath because I don't want to remove the decal from the sides. So I'm trying to be very careful to keep the file flat at the underside of the nail to remove the excess decal. And it all worked out fine. It seems like a little bit extra work, but I just don't have the magic, I guess, with the acetone to remove the excess that way. So I did it the way it worked for me. You may have better luck with that than I did. So the reason that I activated the white without clear capping is because I filed and buffed the 2 layers smooth, and then I applied the decal over that without a clear cap. And now I am clear capping over the decal. And this is the way I have had the most success with full coverage nail wraps, water slides. It's when I don't do this and I just top coat, or I do a base coat and then top coat, I tend to have chipping and peeling, and I didn't want that. I wanted to avoid that as much as possible, so I am clear cap. Words are hard. I guess it's been a while since I've done a voiceover because I'm way out of practice and my tongue keeps getting tangled up. Anyway, so that's what I did. And the reason I also dipped instead of using my powder applicator thingy is because I wanted a little bit more control over the coverage of the clear dip powder over that decal. So I applied my dip base and then I put my finger all the way into the dip powder and let it sit for a second because I wanted that resin to fully absorb the acrylic powder. I wanted that powder to really like set into that acrylic so that when I activate, like the entire decal is covered and I can then buff and smooth it out and not worry about the edges of the wrap being exposed. I hope I'm explaining this well. It made sense in my brain. I keep saying that, but you know, I have these ideas in my head, and when I put them into use during my videos, I'm like, are people going to be confused by what I'm doing here? So I try to explain it, and I hope I'm just not over-explaining it and confusing you further, but this is what works best for me with the full coverage wraps. Like I said a couple of times, I've done wraps, and I just do like a base coat, and then I activate and I top coat over that. And it just didn't have the longevity that I was looking for. And I ended up, you know, having cracking and peeling and lifting underneath. And I just wanted to avoid that entirely. So that's why I went about doing the process this way. And it actually worked out really well. The decals, I had no issues with lifting or chipping or cracking or anything like that. So and then I went back to using my dip powder tool applicator because I do like how that applies the clear dip powder, kind of like the pour over method, but I have a bit more control, and it's just a nice thin layer of clear dip powder. Okay, so now I have brushed off the excess. I am activating. I'm going to, you know, as I usually do, I'm going to shape and I'm going to file and get everything nice and neat off camera. And then when I come back, we'll do some top coat and cuticle oil, and I will share my final thoughts and wrap everything up nice and neat. And just like that, editing magic, gotta love it. Filing and shaping is all done, and I am just removing all the excess dust from that process. And I am going to apply activator for the second time, and then we get into top coat. You know, I feel like I've kind of chatted through this entire video, but I guess I tend to want to make sure that everyone who is watching my videos understands everything that I'm doing, and sometimes that means I talk a lot. But hopefully that also means that you are all understanding my process and my thinking and the way I'm doing what I'm doing. So, but if you do have any questions about what I did or why I did it, please feel free to ask those questions down in the comments below. I do love interacting with you guys, and it really, you know, it brings me joy to be helpful and communicate with all of you. So please don't be shy. If you have a question, ask away. Don't forget to also click that like button. It does help my channel out when you like my videos. And of course, if you like what you see and you're enjoying my videos, please hit that subscribe button, because I'd love to have you as part of my little YouTube community, nail loving family, I guess you could say. All right, with all that being said, we're going to get into some top coat here, and I'm going to explain, slow down. I'm going to explain here that I do use low odor dip base most of the time when I'm doing my nails. Most of the time. Sometimes I miss my regular liquids and I go back, and almost every time I'm like, facepalm, why did I do that? Now I have dip flu. But you know, sometimes it's just worth a stuffy nose and an annoying sniffle here and there to be able to have a faster dry time. But regardless of what I use for my dip base, even when I'm using my low odor dip base, I almost always will use my regular dip top coat, and that is simply because the shine just doesn't compare. Now, Dip-O-Mania has a fantastic low odor top coat, and I don't hate it. I mean, if you're someone who suffers terribly from dip flu, like you're like laid up, can't breathe, headache, all of that bad stuff, please, you know, by all means, try their low odor top coat. It is one of the best I've tried. Here's my problem. I am impatient and don't want to wait for that top coat to dry. It's beautiful and it's shiny and I love it, but I'm just too impatient and want to get right into, you know, putting my cuticle oil on and getting on with my life. I don't want to sit there for 10 minutes waiting for my top coat to dry. So that is my reasoning for not using the low odor top coat. It's not because I don't like the results. It's because I'm just too impatient. And honestly, I never have an issue with getting dip flu from just applying top coat. And I think that it's because, and I could be wrong, exposure to top coat is so quick, right? When you're using dip base, you're doing 2, maybe 3 layers of dip, and you're breathing in those fumes, and it could be an hour or more if you're doing both hands, right? But when I'm doing top coat, it's literally a quick layer, dries for 30 seconds, and then another layer, and you're done. And so the exposure is much more limited to the top coat. And I think that may be why it doesn't bother me. Luckily, that has been my experience. Some people have a much stronger reaction. And in that case, I would suggest you try a low odor top coat. That's my preference, is to not do that. Anyway, here we are with the final results. I absolutely love these decals. I love the color combination of navy blue and pink. It's kind of a dark pink, but I think it goes really nicely together. And it does remind me of Easter when I was a kid. My mom liked to dress me in navy blue for Easter a lot. Navy blue and white, navy blue and pink. She just loved like little girls in navy blue dresses. So it reminds me a lot of, you know, Easter as a kid. Anyway, so I'm going to apply my cuticle oil as I always do. This is Candi Skincare. I'll be honest, I haven't been using cuticle oil as much the last couple of weeks. I do use it after the completion of a mani, but in between, I've been using a lot of ointments and creams and things like that to rehydrate my cuticles because they've been in terrible shape after my gel reaction. So I've been using a lot of the, well, initially I used a lot of Neosporin and hydrocortisone creams just to get rid of the irritation, and then once they started healing and the skin was dry, I was using a lot of the like Neutrogena Swiss formula cream, using a lot of like whipped body butters and hand creams, and recently I discovered the CeraVe healing ointment. And that has been a lifesaver for me. So if you have issues with really dry skin, I highly recommend trying that. I'll link everything down in the description box for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I appreciate you all being here and continuing to support my channel. Hopefully my next upload will be sooner. I look forward to seeing you then. Bye bye now.